Hey, and welcome to the third ever podcast of J&J, Our Views. I'm Joel.
And I'm James.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Bionic Lad or APA 97.
Or Facebook.
At Our Views 2015.
And YouTube.
Our Views 2015.
Comment, please.
Oh, leave comments. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Come on. You know that you want to, make fun of us talking fools. We're just two ordinary average guys. Taxpayers, if you will.
Taxpayers?
Yeah, we have to do that.
Oh, right. You might get upset if we didn't.
Today, on our third ever podcast, all these years and all these thousands of people who are, still not listening to us, but they will.
They will.
Oh, absolutely they will, because, like you said earlier, we're not NPR.
No, we're not NPR. We don't talk in a monotone voice. We're a bit sarcastic, but
and
hopefully we're entertaining.
And we have attitude, damn you.
We do. Today, I think we should look at Bernie Sanders. That's just part of it. And the other half of the equation, of course, is Black Lives Matter.
Black lives do matter.
But so do white lives.
Well,
or is that a hate crime to say?
Martin O'Malley from Maryland said that all lives matter and subsequently was booed off stage, and later he had to apologize for such an atrocity.
Can you imagine having to apologize because you said white lives matter and all lives matter?
Yeah, I think he was right on target there. All lives matter. That is not a racial overtone.
It is not. Any more than hate crimes are.
No, hate crimes are, crimes of hate.
All crimes are crimes of hate.
Yeah,
you didn't
absolutely.
shoot somebody because you liked him or because he was black. You shot him because, you hated him.
Yeah.
Or you wanted his wallet.
Or something. So today we're going to delve right into this whole thing, this Black Lives Matter, which started back during the acquittal of George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman.
See?
One of us
Who's drinking today? Yes, his acquittal of the shooting of Trayvon Martin.
Now, the kid was where he wasn't supposed to be, and he did look like he was causing trouble, but Zimmerman also wasn't a cop.
And he wasn't exactly white.
No, he wasn't. He was a Hispanic, or a white Hispanic. Kind of an oxymoron there, I suppose.
Is the wind blowing? Maybe that's just a sound between our ears.
It could be.
But however, this whole Black Lives Matter took hold because of the result of that acquittal, and subsequently was inspired by President Obama's speech saying,
Oh, yes.
If I was 35 years younger, Trayvon could have been me.
No, it could have been his son. If I had a son,
Oh, yes.
it would be Trayvon Martin.
And, that's going to right there. That is all about racial equality.
And he said that before he even knew any of the facts about the case.
If that isn't a racist comment.
But Obama's black.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
No, he's half black.
Is he?
He is.
I thought he was a Lion Kenyan.
Well, he is a lion Kenyan. Not a Kenyan lion our mascot. Cecil.
Oh, good old Cecil.
I hear Michelle was quite distressed when she found out there was an African lion shot.
Oh, but no, that was a lion African.
Oh, right.
But good old Barack corrected her and said that was an African lion.
Right.
Well, anyway, we're going to get right into this whole thing. Yesterday, Bernie Sanders was interrupted while he was holding a rally in downtown Seattle, Washington. Black Lives Matter activists stormed the stage, took the microphone from him, and bullied him off stage.
How exactly did these people get on stage? This guy is a Democrat nominee. Well, he's running for the nomination on the Democratic ticket. How did he get on stage? Where's the security?
It just makes me wonder if this wasn't a publicity stunt to gain traction for both parties.
I gotta wonder. It's certainly gonna get your name out there.
What a way to get shot, by running against a presidential hopeful.
I just can't believe they get on stage that easy. We've been to a few concerts back in the day, and you don't get on stage. And these are just rock stars.
You're gonna get hurt.
You're gonna get hurt, all right. If you don't get your skull cracked open.
Oh, absolutely. So yesterday, this is the second time for Bernie Sanders. The first time being when, the
Mark O'Malley, former governor.
Yeah, good old
Maryland.
Mark O'Malley, the Netroots Nation Conference back in July. It is being said that Bernie Sanders will not answer questions about racial equality.
Well, he was an activist in the 60s. He's trying to fall back on that.
Yeah, but he's also, it's been written that he didn't have time for the political activists as far as race goes.
Right. He also is a self-described Democrat socialist.
Yeah, and he's only about the economy.
Yeah, he's about the economy, all right. He wants everybody to make the same. He wants everybody to be equally miserable. Except, of course, him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's from Vermont. It's 94% white. He's never really had to face these questions running for re-election.
Is he from Vermont? He's a senator from Vermont, but I don't think he's actually from Vermont himself.
Oh, probably not. Like Scott Brown really wasn't from Washington, right?
No, Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts.
I think he was a Massachusetts native. I'm not sure. But he did run. I mean, I'm shocked that he won as a Republican. But he did say, I will vote against Obamacare if you vote for me. And I'll be damned. He won.
Did he vote for Obamacare?
No, he opposed it. That's why they had to sneak it through the way they did. They knew if they sent it back to the Senate, it would be tied up, so they did it via...
Well, let's go ahead and pass this, and we'll read what's in it later.
Right. The budget reconciliation is how they did it.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm having a hard time taking the Black Lives Matter movement seriously. I'm all about peaceful protests and getting a message out there. I mean, by all means, I mean, we're not racist. We play games about stereotypes and stuff like this, and we both had really good friends that were of the black persuasion. But however, by fighting violence or racism with violence isn't a positive way to get your message out there, like burning down your communities, looting, rioting.
Yeah, why is it those who preach tolerance are some of the most intolerant people that I've ever met?
Right. If you're going to yell and scream, nobody wants to hear your message.
I mean, they trashed Ferguson, their own backyard. They burned it down. They did the same thing in Baltimore. They destroyed their town. How do you burn down your own CVS?
They just had a peace rally out in Ferguson, 1 year anniversary of Eric Brown, and somebody got shot.
They did.
How am I supposed to take this seriously?
It stayed mostly peaceful from what I read, but
Right.
somebody did get shot. There were shots fired, and there were some people that were not exactly peaceful.
I got to think that people are being infiltrated into these movements to create the chaos.
It could be.
Whether to be either to break down the movement or to increase the movement.
Well, maybe there is some extreme elements within the movement.
Yeah, everybody has their own agenda. I mean, I'm all for this. I mean, Eric Brown, I mean, in my opinion, everything pointed to the fact that Darren Wilson, who is now the defendant of the civil case in the wrongful death of Eric Brown, he was attacking Darren Wilson.
He was.
Darren Wilson has the right to defend himself.
Well, you have to defend yourself.
No different than you would have the right to defend yourself.
You go for a cop's gun, this is what's going to happen to you.
Absolutely. Eric Garner in New York selling untaxed cigarettes. I'm not for that. You don't put the guy in a chokehold because he's selling cigarettes that weren't taxed.
Why are we even arresting a guy for selling loose cigarettes? He's selling cigarettes one or two at a time to the, we'll be politically correct here, just this once. To the homeless people who can't afford to buy a whole pack of cigarettes. And what's a pack of cigarettes in New York cost? About $15.
Oh, I don't even want them.
So they wanted a couple of bucks, so he's selling them a couple of bucks.
Whatever. There's more important issues to look at. I was looking down through the protests and everything that the Black Lives Matter movement is for, and some of these shootings, the cops are facing criminal charges. Some are already in jail for murder, and some have been indicted, and some are just awaiting trial.
There's no question our police force now has gotten too militarized. They're too overzealous, and we've graduated some of these guys from our local area in high school, and you give them a badge and a gun, and these guys are badass now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they were pushed around in school, and now you're not going to talk that way to me because I've got a gun.
And a badge.
But I have dealt with a lot of cops who are very professional, very polite, and very good people.
I've never really had a problem with anybody here locally.
You want to know why? Because we don't break the law.
Well, if I'm caught speeding,
but if you're burning down a building or you're holding up an old lady, you're not being singled out. You're being a criminal.
This is true.
If we started up the movement today, White Lives Matter.
Well, they'd label us a racist.
Oh, and our houses would probably get burned down.
And they probably wouldn't like the Confederate flag either.
Yeah, you know what? The Nazis and the white supremacists can still go and hold a rally on the lawn of the White House with the Nazi flag, and we all know what that stands for. Hundreds of millions of people have died in the face of that flag. But God forbid one white kid who was messed up in the head went into a southern church and shot some black people, and that is not right. Do not condone it. 100% against it. Doesn't mean you ban a flag.
Yeah. Murder is murder.
No matter who it is.
Whether you're killing white people or killing black people, all lives
matter.
All lives matter. Everybody is equal. We're all equally alive.
I think these guys are being misled. I think these guys are being misled by their party. I mean, I'm looking back. The Democrats were, in the first 30 years of their existence, they owned slaves.
I mean, if you're really concerned about black lives, how many were shot in Chicago just last night alone? But that's black on black crime.
Yeah, and and Chicago is a gun-free area.
That's a gun-free zone. I don't know how anybody's getting shot there.
Right. I think everybody is. I think maybe their heart's in the right place, but their energy is going in the wrong direction.
I have to agree with that. I think they get the right idea. It's just I don't really hope to go with this.
I think that when you act like thugs and animals, you're treated like thugs and animals, and you're not going to get any respect within your own community.
Oh, definitely not.
I mean, we've already taken the historic moment in 2008 when Barack Obama was elected as the first, I hate the subgroups, African-American president. They took this historic event. This is a worldwide historic event, and they made it all about race. It was not supposed to be all about race. It was supposed to be about joining people together for the greater cause.
I mean, he won with a fairly significant amount of the vote.
Oh, 98% of the black population votes Democrat anyway.
Well, he didn't win it with just the black population. He had to have an awful lot of white votes.
Well, he had a hell of a message.
So, I mean, obviously white people voted for him.
Yeah, I mean, but they've taken this, and what they've done essentially is they set back their race 100 years.
So if white people are willing to vote for this guy, obviously he connected with them. I mean, we didn't agree with him.
No, I find it hard to listen to a Democrat. I'm not about redistribution of wealth. I think if my next door neighbor works really hard and buys herself a sports car, she doesn't owe me any part of that sports car.
Yeah, I had a real hard time voting for John McCain. I'll tell you.
Yeah, he was like, what do you call it, the best of the worst?
Yeah. No,
we really didn't have anybody.
Yeah. We could have done better, but it was his turn, as they say.
Yeah, and this whole Black Lives Matter. I mean, I'm not going to stand with Black Lives Matter. I'm with all lives matter, no matter who you are. If you're black, white, Asian, anything.
Yeah, all lives matter.
We all matter. I mean, I'm sitting there looking back, and we were discussing earlier about how this movement has hitched their wagons to the Democratic Party, who also formed the KKK and segregation, the Jim Crow laws to keep the blacks down. Joe Kennedy transformed the party into a bunch of thugs and criminals with his buddy FDR with a New Deal.
The New Deal.
Yes, designed to give programs such as Social Security to make you dependent, so they buy your vote and keep you down.
Well, the minimum wage. There's a history behind the minimum wage, and it's not a pretty one.
No.
We can get into that another time.
Right, and in 1964, LBJ, the Great Society.
The Great Society.
Yeah, I mean, he turned the government dependent, he turned the blacks, what was not our quote, but quoted as saying, dependent parasites on welfare.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, I mean, this is what your own party views you as.
Parasites.
Yeah, parasites. You are nothing more than someone to keep them in office and keep them wealthy while they go ahead and make millions and billions off in the sweat and off in your back.
So the bottom line, the Black Lives Matter protesters have a point.
They have a point. They're just going in the wrong direction.
It's just they're going the wrong way. They're alienating an entire segment of the population.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to work with anybody of any color, race, religion, anything.
Well, where I go and what I do, I mean, I drive an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with people of all colors, all nationalities.
Yep.
You know how it is?
We have to get along because we are not African Americans or Franco-American or Asian American. We are Americans. That is the bottom line. And when we divide ourselves by culture and race, then we allow everybody to control us.
The African American thing is kind of a misnomer because there's an awful lot of blacks that aren't African. Right. A couple of our favorite ball players, Pedro Martinez, he's a Dominican.
Big Papi.
They're not African Americans.
Right.
They're Dominicans.
Yeah,
and they're quite proud to be Dominican.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? What we're doing is we're keeping up the racial divide. And that's not good for the country. And it's not good for the black community, it's not good for the white community.
If the problem is the violent cops or overzealous cops, and that needs to be looked at and addressed, but addressing it strictly upon racial lines and only complaining when it's a white cop that shoots a black perpetrator,
right,
or a black suspect.
You can't single it out that way.
But
it has to be tackled as a whole issue.
Yeah.
Well, we've watched cops on TV, you know, like I used to work in the correctional field. How many times on Cops did you see a white cop chase down a black criminal, get him to the ground, then give him a good couple shots in the ribs for good measure?
Oh, I mean, they took him down hard a lot of times when they didn't need to.
It's not the right thing to do.
It's not the right thing to do.
I think they definitely need some more training. They need better training.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do believe that these guys have every right to go home to their family.
Yeah, they do want to go home, so they're going to take what they feel is necessary. Just like we said, some of them get a badge and a gun, and they think that they're God.
Right. And like I said, like I said earlier, there are some very professional, some really good cops. I mean, I've spoken with a lot of cops. I've worked with a lot of police officers, and they are really good people.
Yeah, you've worked in corrections, so you know exactly what the difference between good cops and bad cops.
And some of them come in, they won't even speak to you. Okay, that guy, I don't have time for that guy. But the guy does have a job to do. He's in a dangerous field. He does have the responsibility of carrying a gun. He doesn't know who's going to take a shot at him. Now we got people, because of all these racial tensions, cops are being called to scenes and being shot because it's a false call just so they can get a cop in.
Oh, just so they can shoot at them.
Yeah, I mean, that's not right. I mean, let's grow up. Let's get together. We really do need to join hands and
sing Kumbaya?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not Kumbaya.
A campfire. But anyway, you know, we do need to get together and fight this together, not as a black problem or as a white problem, but as a national problem.
As a national problem.
I would have liked to have seen in the debate the other day for them to go ahead and address some of these racial issues, because these racial issues are not going away.
No, they're not going away anytime soon. So I guess in that respect, they're doing a good job of drawing attention to it. We just would like to see it be all lives matter and not just Black
Lives Matter. I mean, like I said, we don't completely disagree with the movement, but we don't completely agree with the movement. If you have any questions, just go ahead. Add us to your Facebook. Our Views 2015, YouTube, Our Views 2015. Hit our Twitter accounts. Hit the Podomatic podcast. Leave us some comments. Leave us some questions. Go ahead. Ask us. We will answer you.
Definitely.
And until then,
see you next time.
Have a good one.